Aguante Taller Batería.
Bienvenidos a Taller Batería, mi nombre es Melena Sánchez y en esta ocasión estamos internacionales. ¿Por qué digo esto? Porque vino a la Argentina la banda Animals as Leaders y qué mal que hablo en inglés, pero no importa. Y el baterista, el señor Matt Garstka, estuvo con nosotros. Gracias a ceroventicinco pude entrar al camarín, pude estar en la trastienda de todo lo que es el show, pero como hablando inglés soy un desastre, le pedí ayuda a quién, a un amigo, Matias Sablich. Por suerte me acompañó y tuvimos la oportunidad de tener una charla que es realmente enriquecedora. ¿Por qué digo esto? Porque van a ver cómo toca este pibe, pero también van a ver cómo encara él la forma de estudiar. No voy a hablar de cosas que habló él, pero simplemente escúchenlo porque me parece que hay algunos conceptos que son recontra interesantes. No digo que estoy de acuerdo con muchas cosas de las que hace o cómo las hace, pero simplemente esto es un testimonio de que él nos cuenta de qué fueron las cosas que a él le sirvieron para tocar. Y después, obviamente, lo ves tocar y cada uno saca su conclusión, más allá de los gustos. Nos dejó su firma. Entonces, si alguno de ustedes quiere ganarse este parche firmado por él, lo único que tienen que hacer es compartan este programa, denle me gusta y dejen algún comentario. Así que el parche puede ser para alguno de ustedes. Otra cosita más, y no me quiero olvidar, porque me parece como realmente interesante para todos nosotros los bateros. Mañana sábado, voy a leer, 12 de agosto a las 17 horas en el Espacio Cultural del Sur va a estar el evento de baterística. Y bueno, no se lo pierdan porque van a estar tocando algunos colegas y amigos míos como Silvio Tolini, Martín de Paz, Sebastián Peiseré, Mariano Sansi y Eddie Ballarino, entre otros. También va a estar el concurso de la Revelación 2017, va a haber stands de instrumentos y muchas cosas más. Lo importante también, que me parece bueno, es que este evento es gratis, o sea que vayan y no se lo pierdan porque va a estar buenísimo. Esto es en Avenida Caseros al 1750. Ahora sí los dejo con el reportaje que hicimos con Matt Garstka. Garstka, la puta madre. Y yo me voy como Tedes, el inglés. Very difficult para mí. Disfrútenlo, muchachos. Chao.
Matt, say hi to Argentina.
Hello.
Okay, so how do you feel here in Argentina? How did everything treat you?
Great so far. I've only been here a day. But yeah, great coffee, great food, great wine. So yeah, couldn't be happier.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we enjoy your visit really much. I think everyone was expecting to see Animals as Leader, are also you. You are one of the best musicians around, best drummers around in the current scene. So I congratulate you for that.
Thank you.
It's a lot of work. So tell me, how do you approach your drumming? How do you think your drumming? It's really difficult. How do you approach it?
It's not a static thing.
No, okay.
It doesn't stay the same all the time. It's important to change an approach, or your approach to learning and to expressing yourself many times throughout your life. And right now I guess I would, to sum up my approach, it's usually a scientific approach, meaning that like I utilize method and slowing things down and thinking things through, I read music and I use that to my advantage. I transcribe and I write things out to help me remember them, and that's how most of my ideas are developed. They're mostly developed consciously, and I like that because I have control over the musical ideas rather than just inputting random things and not being sure what the output will be. You know, I like having creative control. But yeah, I mean, there's the other side, which is, you know, this, mysterious side, which is, you know, the soul, that's the heart, that's the things that we can't always describe or figure out using intellect. And that's also very fascinating to me too. So yeah, to me, these are kind of important aspects of life,
Yeah.
and of music, and it's important to balance these. And yeah, it really, you know, it's I love chops, I love patterns, you know, but that has to be balanced with groove and feel and music. And to think music has to be balanced with to feel music. Control has to be also balanced with being able to be out of control, you know, and surrendering.
That's music.
Yeah. So I don't know. It can be whatever you want it to be. That's why it's called expressing yourself. And yeah, I try to do a little bit of everything. You know, I want to. It's kind of like coffee to me, or to like wine, or like food. You know, you want to try everything so that you know what's the best stuff.
Okay.
You know, so you try everything, and then you go, okay, I like this, I like that. This is okay. Like, this is not my favorite thing. Like practicing rudiments or practicing this really technical stuff, or just strict timing exercise might not be your favorite thing, but you might know it's really good for you.
Okay.
You know, like food. It's like, you know.
You have to taste it so you know if you like it.
Yeah. And then going crazy and just being out of control and seeing the fastest that you can go. That's like a donut or like a cookie or something. You know, you want to balance that out. You know?
Yeah.
So,
I know you really encourage musicians to read music.
Oh yeah.
I particularly think it's really important. So can you tell me your approach to reading music? Why is it useful to read music?
Well, people say that when you're learning, it helps to visualize.
Yeah.
That means that in your head you think of how something looks. And this is a technique that's used across learning pretty much anything. So with music, like, how do you visualize sound?
Yeah.
You know? Well, you can write it very plainly onto paper. You know, that's one way of saying this is exactly what you play. You know, there's absolutely an amount of things that you can't write down. You know, certain dynamics they're not exact.
Yeah.
You know,
You can put it exactly on paper.
Yeah, like slowing down or speeding up certain placements. It's not, you know, we're not talking. People don't play perfectly in time.
Yeah.
You know, there's little tiny fluctuations, milliseconds. In my opinion, it's just a really useful tool to not only to learn and to put music into our brains, but to also write things down. Oh, I have this great idea. Let me write it down. Oh, I have this idea to put groups of 5 over this crazy 7 pattern. Well, if you're gonna just use your own brain and that's it, it's a great challenge for you, but it's gonna be a lot more work than needed. So you can kind of get further than you're supposed to. Like, you can write out what's 5 over 3 over 7, and you can play it like this, just linearly, and do that in a fraction of time. So really, it's a time saver. It's one more tool to use for. I mean, you can use it for a variety of things, but yeah, for me, it's been crucial in my development, and it's allowed me to improve in a very small amount of time.
Yeah, Elena says that even when he doesn't really understand what we are talking, he tells me that he feels that you are a very thoughtful drummer. That with your approach, kind of what we were talking, but he without even knowing what we were talking about.
Right.
So how do you manage your approach, almost scientific, when mathematic approach, and balance with not being in control?
Right.
How do you manage that? Because I think that's the real challenge. You balance between being like a machine and a musician.
Right.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. It's really tough because as a beginner, I understood that I needed to gain a lot of ability. I needed to work on rudiments, coordination, technique. All these things were really crucial to my development.
yeah.
But at the same time, you can't only develop that. So I knew I was in this phase of needing to develop that stuff. So I really did focus on that. But I was lucky enough to have my father, who's also a musician, and be surrounded by music. And he owned a music store, and I was around teachers all the time.
He's a guitar player.
Of teachers of all different instruments, and I was put in playing situations since I was 10 or 11 years old in front of people playing music. So that was really helpful to applying my knowledge. I didn't just only develop playing music and then develop technique and thoughtfulness. I developed all of them at the same time. And it's really hard because anyone can put in the time. I say that, but not anyone would. So I was someone who was willing to do that, but I was also someone who was lucky enough to have situations. But I also pursued those very hard. So my advice is just put in as much time you can into learning your instrument, but also put as much time as you can into playing with people and getting out there and utilizing the skills that you're developing. I definitely tend to stay in my practice room and want to make everything perfect and then put it out.
Okay.
But it's really tough because that's not always the right way. You have to get used to just letting go and just playing and having fun and
Yeah, but let me tell you, it works for you. It works.
Yeah. But it's always a struggle, of course. You're always trying to find a better balance.
Yeah.
To be happier.
Yeah. I think drums are, in a way, kind of a rustic instrument because you are banging them. We don't have notes, don't have melodies. Well, we kind of have some melodies if you tune your tones properly. But we are musicians after all, and we are creating music. So I think that's really interesting. You say about sharing with other musicians and playing and having fun. Yeah. I think that's the main goal for the biggest percentage of drummers who are not professionals, who are amateurs or are really passionate about drumming but cannot afford to live of drumming.
Right.
So if you're a professional and you have the time, great. But if not, have fun, be happy. I think
there's also fun in being serious, and that's a quote from John Coltrane. Which I didn't hear till recently, a couple weeks ago. But for me, that really resonated because I was like, oh, it makes sense because I'm always so serious and like pushing myself and wanting to, be at this level. And there is fun in it. It's not visual like but it's really rewarding. To really put a lot of effort into something and see it make a difference, not only in how you feel, but how other people respond.
The response. You get happy by the results of your hard work, and that's not less. You put a lot of work. I think you studied like 6 to 8 hours when you went to Berkeley. I heard correctly?
I was doing that from the age of 14 or 15, and I started practicing less when I was near the end of Berkeley. So then it started to be like 4 or 6 hours a day. But that's, that was like 10 years that I did 6 to 8 hours. But yeah, I think that's really important for anybody doing anything, is to have a real extended period and phase where you're just completely immersing yourself in what you want to do, and if you really want to excel in that, and be professional and
Yeah, I think
master.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who wants to be the best, but don't want to spend a lot of time working for being the best.
Right.
But you have to be coherent between what you want and what you do.
Right.
To get what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to be really passionate. You have to be obsessive. You have to you have to be willing to dedicate any living moment that you have to, and you have to be willing to sacrifice other things.
Yeah.
Including relationships and all sorts of things. Friendships and time, and be able to, if you really think that you want it, you have to be able to sacrifice the current moment for the future.
Yeah.
You have to be able to. It's actually helpful because it teaches you that you can have foresight to know this is what I want, and I know I'm going to have to do this now, and I might not want to do this now, but I know this is what I want.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do it, and that's that. And that's power.
Yeah.
Because that means you can manifest your own life to be what you want it to be.
Exactly.
And it can, it can be for anything, it doesn't just have to be music.
Yeah, of course, that applies to everything in life, I think. Yeah. One last question about an advice, maybe for the ones who doesn't have 6, 4, 8 hours to study. I think that's the challenge. I think the growth of the people doesn't have that much time. And how do you, or what advice would you give to those who have limited time to face your practice time?
Don't ask me. Because I don't have the answer to that question. I didn't, that's not what I thought. I wasn't passive, and I didn't just want it to be a part of my life. I wanted my life to be surrounded by it, and for this to be the main thing, and then other things happen around my life, but this is my life. And I don't know. I could give advice, but my goals were, I always set high goals, and as a result, I knew that I had to be 100% or nothing. So I'm just a different type of person. I like a challenge. I need that, and I respond to that, and that drives me. Having something that seems like it's unattainable. That really makes me want to live up to that challenge, and go to war, and I don't know, that's how I feel about
you aim for the sky, for this being the best, and you put your time and effort to do that, and I think you're in the really, really, really correct way. You're really, really doing great. You're doing a great job as a drummer, as a musician, and well, we are going to sign some heads. We can to give to the viewers of the show.
Okay.
Sí, cómo no, Carlito.
It's okay.
Okay.
My English is very bad.
Yeah.
My Spanish is bad.
That's why I'm here.
Decirle que es Que yo soy de hablar mucho, decirle.
He speaks a lot in Spanish. Also I.
Mucho, pero
But
se necesita ser fluido para hablar.
he was my teacher 15 years ago. Now we're friends. So when he was coming here, he said, "Mati, I need someone who speaks English, please. Can you do it?"
Yeah.
So here I am. I'm speaking for him today.
Yeah. All right.
So. Yeah, okay,
Bien.
thank you very much.
Taller Batería, esto es lo que vamos a tener para alguno de ustedes que seguramente lo va a querer, el parche del muchacho.
Okay. Muchas
Muchas
gracias. A
gracias.
todos,
Y nada, nos vemos en el próximo programa de Taller Batería. Thanks, Matt.
Thank
Sí.
you.
Any last
Muchas
words,
gracias.
Matt? You want to say goodbye to Argentinian people?
Yes. Well, how do I say goodbye?
Chao Argentina, you can say.
Ciao.
Chao Latinoamérica.
Sí, no, sí, lo que quiera. decilo ahora.
Vamos.
Vamos Argentina.
Messi.
Messi.
Para, quédate ahí, que diga, aguante Taller Batería.
Aguante
Así
Taller
que sí,
Batería, ok.
Aguante Taller Batería.
Can you say aguante
Aguante
Aguante.
taller
Taller.
batería?
Batería.
Eh.
Aguante taller batería.
Okay.
Another prize. That's another prize.
That's another prize.
Habla mejor que yo, decile.
You speak better than him. Okay.
Sí, no.
Here.
No se puede.
Buenísimo, Javier, hacer la nota de deporte.
Son tremendos.